it's got.
Yeah, Neff, I'm looking for these bikes on the berms. They do it, okay? It's not a power, it's not braking and throwing dust. They throttle through the berms. Or have you ever seen a little KTM F50SX?
Repeat that, please.
Have you seen the little KTM 50SXs? The little motocross 50s, like this boy's riding?
I haven't, but I mean, I know the difference between a 50
with bikes. I know something about bikes, but I'm not very proficient. I don't know them on a name basis like that. Sorry.
You just can't get that.
I can tell you about engines, but not about a specific car name of a bike.
It doesn't have the power to throw that kind of dirt, man.
Nope.
There's not enough power. It's only got a couple of horsepower.
Yep.
You need a lot of horsepower.
A couple of horsepower?
Yeah, a couple.
Well, it depends on the dirt.
Yeah, a couple.
Yeah.
Well, you're saying a 50cc bike has 26 or 38 horsepower?
Questions.
Surely you're not saying that.
I don't know the ratio off the top of my head, but
of course not. It doesn't. It doesn't. No. It's got less than 10. Man, in the early 70s, 75cc, 80cc dirt bikes had 7 to 8, 9 horsepower. I mean, you could push them and get 10, 11 out of them. 12 maybe. I mean, you're not going to, even modern today, you're not going to get 30-something horsepower out of a 50cc engine, man. No freaking way. I mean, damn. A Husqvarna 360.
Well, engineering has gone quite a way in the past 40 years. I mean,
had probably 36 to 40 horsepower in 1973. I mean, that's 360 cc's though. Two-stroke with an expansion chamber. You're not going to get that from a 50cc even today. No way. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. You could apply the best mechanical technology in the world to a 50cc engine. You're never going to get more than a handful of horsepower out of it. You're never going to get 30 horsepower out of it. Not possible. Not enough. Doesn't have enough displacement.
I get it, Neff. We understand. We get it. You don't need to repeat yourself.
No. I'm just saying, you can't chunk that much dirt with a 50cc engine, man.
I joined the conversation like 2 minutes ago. It's okay. Okay, you can't get...
Well, you don't have to listen. You can move off.
Well, no, I'm just saying, I mean, it's... Okay, I will readily admit that you are correct, and you cannot get 30 horsepower at 50 cc's. I could not find that anywhere, so...
Yeah, no, you're not. You're never going to get that kind of power. You can't chunk 30-foot rooster tails with a 50cc bike. You need 35, 45 horsepower or more for that.
Yeah, it's not actually... I'm not arguing how much horsepower. I don't actually know how much horsepower they've got. The question, Org, is whether that... I showed him a photo of a 50cc doing the berm and dust was flying everywhere.
Check this out, bro.
Yeah, and we're disputing whether it was... whether the kid was on the brakes through the berm or whether he was on the power throttle through the berm. And I'm trying to tell Neff... I'm trying to tell Neff the kid is on the throttle. Yeah. They are powerful little bikes.
It's a 1983 KTM right
1983 KTM 495.
495 cc's, man.
If you'd like to talk about
That's
buying
a monster,
it, please
dude.
give us a call, 719-229-6584. This is the fastest production dirt bike ever produced. Clocked at 123.7 miles per hour. All original except for the Onser spark arrestor pipe and the...
Well, I tell you what, you crack the throttle on that sucker, you better hang the hell
tires. This bike is in excellent condition. Runs perfectly.
That many cc's?
It has the high compression dual plug head. Original seat. This is the 5-speed model. and she really rips.
Yeah, I mean, bikes have definitely gotten way overpowered. There's no question about that. I mean,
they've moved away from
two-stroke.
They're all four-stroke nowadays, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's because you get so much more power out of a four-stroke.
They moved away from the two-strokes. Well, not more horsepower per se, really, but you get the torque. The reason they moved from two-stroke to four-stroke was because you get smoother and more predictable power.
That's true. It's more predictable. You are correct. I misspoke.
You can go through the curves and through the berms and everything faster on a four-stroke than a two-stroke because you have such finer control over how much power it's got. And so they've given away because the two-stroke is kind of funny, you know. You get to a certain point in the throttle where you got very little power, and all of a sudden it's all on. You know, it's all power. You know, the bike just shits and gets. Okay, pardon my French, right? So that kind of that break point is actually a negative for motocross riders because it takes away control from the rider, right? But with these really torquey four-cycle bikes, you can apply more power in the slower parts of the track and go through them faster and still have the power you need to get through the faster parts of the track with a four-stroke engine. So that's why they did away with the two-stroke now, and it's all become four-strokers. So the funny thing, the irony is that people who loved four-stroke engines back in the early 70s and late 60s and all these say, screw these rice burners, man, these two-stroke things, and they were all praising the four-stroke for its torque, you know, because you could blast through an area and at low RPM in a four-stroke at a higher gear, just giving it every bit of throttle it had, you know, just blah, and it would just rip through, right? And that was the cool thing about the four-stroke engine, right? And they would, but the funny thing is that their ideas came true in the end, right? Where everybody is now shifted to the four-stroke, and all the guys that love the two-stroke for that instant power on and instant off, that idea is dead because it limited your ability to control the power output of the bike, right? And you can get through a motocross track faster now with a modern four-stroke engine than you could with a two-stroke. So it's kind of funny that the guys who proclaimed the four-stroke engine back in the 60s and 70s and hated the two-strokes actually ended up winning the argument in the end, you know. Today all professional motocross bikes are four-stroke, you know. It's kind of funny. Yeah, two-stroke is dead when it comes to motocross. They've all changed over to the thumpers, man. The thumper has smooth power output and that tremendous torque, man. The torque of the four-stroke, that's the key, man. You ain't gotta have high RPM, you just gotta give it lots of gas, and that thumper torque on the.
That's the new bike I was trying to think of, the Cobra. There's a bike called a King Cobra. It's taking the titles from the 50cc, from the KTMs.
Hey, check this out. Let's see here. You ever seen Roger DeCosta race? Oh man, that guy was awesome. He rode a Suzuki 500 TM. He won the world championship 7 years in a row, man. He was like the motocross god, man. Nobody could touch the guy, man. And then Heikki Mikkola took it away from him in 1974, I think 74, on a Husqvarna 360. DeCosta was driving a Suzuki TM 500cc bike. That was his choice, right? But Heikki Mikkola was riding a Husqvarna 360 and beat him on a 360. See, it's not all about horsepower; it's about rider. And Mikkola, you know, he found the right time, and when in the opening he got on it and got past him, and it was it. DeCosta lost, man. On a 360, it beat the 500. So You know, it's not
Left
about the
at
bike, man.
1991 atheist.
So much. It's about the rider. Because the 360 had, that 360 probably had, I'm gonna guess, 10 or 12, 14 horsepower less than that 500. You know, probably at least 10 horsepower less, right? Maybe 14, 15
When my missus gets
horsepower
home,
less.
Neff, we've got some stuff recorded on the mobile phone of the kid, not on a track, no jumps or nothing or berms, but just on the phone we got some of the kid out the backyard, sorry, in the back alleyway, and when he takes off on the bike, he'll just throttle it, and the bike steps out sideways, and he'll leave 30 meters of just dust, just chewing dust on a 50cc motorbike, and I'll show you that when my missus gets home. You'll see how the bike takes off. It just power.
Yeah, I'd like to say that.
I'll upload it, and I'll give you the link. And this is out.
It has to be absolute dust, and it would have to be all chunked by the tire for me to believe it.
Yep. And then like this isn't doing a berm.
And I'm not talking about
taking off in a straight line
or riven over. I mean dust, like it was thrown down on the ground. It would have to be that.
Atheist.
Yep.
I've ridden motorcycles too much, man.
And I know if you see the bike doing that in a straight line, I know that your logic will be able to say, oh well, if the bike can do that in a straight line, and it can sure do it on a
I believe that, like I say,
on a berm.
If I see it and if it's legit, I'll believe it. I used to ride motocross, man. I've been 35 miles an hour in the air and lay a bike up sideways, man, cross over. When I was 13 years old, I used to do that, man. I know what it means to ride motocross.
The thing is, not many kids are confident in the berms, especially when the berms are packed. So they come through them slowly. But I'm trying to find a kid who's on the track alone, and yeah.
Hey Neff, this is hilarious. I'm watching some videos, I'm watching a couple of the responses you made, and this guy is saying that you think autism is a belief in aughts.
Oh yeah, he's pointing to a typo, and he's making stupid crap. Hey, one night, when I was about, I guess I was about 14 years old, 13 years old.
Thunderfoot said that in the conversation I had with him last night.
About 8 o'clock in the morning, and this guy pulls up, right, and I'm doing berms, and I'm pulling his front wheel off the ground and going through the second half of the curve on the back tire, you know, leaning into the curve, turning on one tire through a curve, right, shifting gears, right. And doing stuff like this, right? And this guy pulls up in a car and sits there at the end of the block watching me, right? I get kind of freaked out by that. So after about an hour riding motocross, I pull up beside him, and I pull up, and I stopped and asked him, you know, he's sitting there wearing a tie and a shirt, and I said, it's about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. I said, can you tell me why you're sitting here watching me ride, you know? I was about 13 years old. He said, because I've never seen anybody could ride a dirt bike like that before. I was fascinated. I just had to sit here and watch you, you know. You know, because I was freaking, you know. I didn't know why is this guy watching me, right, you know. So I asked him. He said, I've never seen anybody could ride a dirt bike like that. And I said, oh, okay. Well, that's cool, I guess. So I said, okay. So I just took off and kept riding. And that really boosted my ego, man, because for the rest of the day I just felt like a king, you know. Just I was a kid, man, but really was really good for my ego that day. Yeah, okay. Cool stuff. Yeah. I loved motocross, man.
Lieutenant
I wanted to be a professional motocross racer, man, but I really never got the chance. It was a passion for me. Hey, Rusted, my dad had a, my dad, when I was a kid, he bought a Yamaha 360, DT 360, and that thing's had so much compression that if you didn't kick it right and that your foot slipped off of it, that Kickstarter would come up and slap you in the back of the knee and hurt, man. Whop!
I had one sec. I had an LC4. Is that the Huskies? LC4 640?
I don't know about LC.
I'll get right back to you.
I remember the day my dad
No, they're a
bought
KDM.
that,
They're a KDM 2. No, they're a KDM
yeah.
2. The KDM LC4 640. You have an ignition start, but my battery was knackered. And I went downtown, and normally the battery would, I'd go in, buy my smokes and whatnot, walk out and start the bike. But this time the battery done the knacker on me, and I didn't have the bike long. And yeah, I was standing around with my mates. My mate was the security guard and whatnot. So there's 2 security guards there and a couple of other mates with their cars and whatnot. And everyone's going, I just fucking started. I'm like, you fucking start the fucking thing. And they're like, we had this pit, and they're like calling me a pussy and whatnot. So I thought, oh, fuck it, I got to get home. And I've jumped on the bike, man. And yeah, I literally just jumped right up. And because I knew how much you had to put in to start this bike. And I jumped on it. And the look on my face, everyone said the look on my face, man, because it just dropped. And I went thump, and it just chucked me over the handlebars of the fucking car, man, of the bike, man. And everyone, mate's laughing at me. I'm like, you jump on it. And it fucking, literally, there were like 2-3 of us got chucked over the handlebars of this bike, man. Like, yeah, there's some fucking serious compression in some of those bikes.
Oh, I know it. Yeah, man. They did have some serious compression. But the funny thing is, the 4-strokes, they got even more compression than the 2-strokes. That's funny. That video won't play. That's some crap. Plays on YouTube, but it won't play here. Huh. Be darned.
Got the whole shot! In the lead! He's way out in front.
I don't know what I'm doing to make my page keep restarting on me, man. Yeah, but I teach my son to
Have you ever heard of CZ?
I teach my son to teach my son to power down coming into the berm and then power out, and yeah. I don't know, and so that's why he'll have the power to exit the berm then,
Right.
So whereas you're probably thinking constant maintenance of power into the berm and then even more coming out of the berm. Yeah. I teach him to let off the throttle. CC,
You ever seen CZ motocross bikes?
Yossarian.
No, CZ was a brand. It was a Czechoslovakia. Czechoslovakian brand of motocross bike back in the 1970s. It was an excellent motocross bike. Some people criticized them as being too heavy, but they won some championships and they were excellent. They were actually very good. And so was back in those days. Spain made a couple of two brands that were really good, Montesa and Mako. They were actually quite good motocross bikes. They never won. I don't think they ever won a championship. It wasn't because their bikes were great. It was because they didn't have the sponsorship. They didn't get the best riders. The bikes were great. All the reviews were great.
Unsurpassed
The bike had great balance, great power, great handling, everything. They were just excellent bikes. I rode a Mako, as a matter of fact, once. And it was, man, that sucker had some, man, that sucker had some power. You crack the throttle on that, you better hang on. That sucker had power. But it was because they just didn't garner the best racers. The bike was great. They could be a maker or a breaker in a motocross, motocross bike manufacturer. Was not necessarily how great the bike was. It was how good the rider you could get with your sponsorship and whatnot. If you got the better riders, you're gonna get wins. But even if your bike is great, if you have
remember what Puppy was saying before,
the so-so riders, you're never gonna win championships.
Yeah, remember what Poppy was saying before about having the money to put all the excess, and it's a matter of how much you spend on your bike. It's not actually true, especially not down in the 50cc, because the King Cobra, which is dominating the 50 to 80cc classes, it's a new bike out, which a lot of parents are opting for their kids. It's actually dominating the 50 to 80 cc's because it's actually a less powerful bike, and coming from a KTM owner, there's 101 complaints about the King Cobra, but as an all-round balanced bike, it's really soft on the suspension and whatnot, but the kids just seem to really relate to the bike, and because they feel confident on the bike, they're more likely to open it up and whatnot. Whereas with the KTM 50s, the kids won't open the bikes right up, so the King Cobras tend to dominate.
Yeah.
At 1991 atheist.
This is a 250cc Yamaha. This guy's riding on. Vintage bikes, man. These are 80s bikes, I think. They're about to get on it. Which are not much different in power or handling from today. By the 80s, the motocross was on with the monoshock suspension and whatnot. The 80s motocross bikes were really excellent bikes. I don't know that they've really much improved motocross machines since the 1980s. If they have, it's probably in very slight ways. By the 80s, motocross bikes were almost every bit as good as they are to this day. These are two-strokers, though. With the exception of that, the four-stroke engine has reigned supreme, These are two-strokers. Here's one. Check this out, bro. This is a classic Mako 450. It's a Spanish motocross bike from the 1970s, man. Wow, somebody's restored that sucker.
Long night. Simple desperate to cry. Been trading over with indifference, and yeah, suits me just fine. I try to hold on like giving up. All this.
I don't see anything impressive there.
Yossarian.
Please play the one I just posted, Neff.
Nephilimfree.
That was
Please play the one I just posted, Neff.
That was
Please play that one.
Guys,
that guy should have done it something great. He was. I wanted to see, eating dirt and whatnot. You know what I mean? Really, really rocking. This guy was. That was
Neff.
cheesy, man. It's like
Neff,
he was just
please
going
play the
around
one
the
I just
track
posted.
for fun.
Neff,
Sure.
Neff,
Please
do you
play the
like
one I
jumps
just-
and stuff? Neff, honestly, do you like jumps and stuff? I have the perfect video for you. You'll
Oh, I
love
love
the video
motocross,
I have.
man. I think motocross is awesome art form.
I think you'll
Neff,
love
can you
it.
please
love
play the
motocross.
Play that
one I
video,
just
then play
posted?
mine. Trust me.
I love
This is only the
motocross.
50cc's. This is where the conversation started. Now, realize it's all about the kids' confidence, but watch what these kids do through the berms. It's on the power now.
Yeah, they're chunking a little bit of dirt. I mean, a little. Right?
Yeah, you're talking about kids' confidence too, Neff.
Well, I know. I'm just saying the bike can't throw that much dirt. Don't advertise.
But just watch, keep watching it.
It's pretty good power for a 50cc bike. To be able to get that kind of go out of the hole like that, like right there.
Watch,
You saw him
watch.
get
Watch
out.
him throttle it. See that? He just powered off. Dust.
I know. Well, that's the difference between a 50cc bike in the 70s and one today. They're getting a lot more horsepower. But you know what I'm talking about, a whole lot more horsepower is 3.
Now that's
3
power.
horsepower.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that, man. That's a whole far cry from what you showed me in that picture, though, man. Yeah, in the early 50s, you're getting 3 horsepower out of a 50cc. Today, these guys are getting 7, 8, 9 horsepower, man. That's a lot of horsepower from a 50cc, man. I bet those bikes are getting about 7.5, 8 horsepower. No, maybe not even that much. Maybe 6.5 horsepower. Something like that. Yeah, I'm gonna say about 6.5.
Those bikes have got
That's
some
pretty good
serious
for
balls for
50
kids,
cc's,
man.
though, man. I mean,
Lieutenant
compared to what
Soldier
you could get out of a 50cc bike in the past, that's a tremendous leap. Though,
Let's skip ahead a bit.
From
Let's skip ahead.
3.5 or so horsepower to about 6.5 or 7. That's a leap in power. Be right back.
pretty long video, ain't it?
Greek man, get the fuck over yourself. Serious, man. We're talking. This is where the conversation started. Okay? We were talking about 50cc bikes. Serious, we're talking about 6 to 8 year old kids riding 50cc bikes, and that's where the conversation started because Neff said that these bikes were not able to throttle through berms, right? And I said, you haven't seen a 50cc bike in a long time, obviously, Neff, because I just sold my kid's bike. I came in here and said there's going to be tears in my house tonight because I just sold my son's motorbike, right? So, and he's getting the 65.
Was he super upset?
He's not home yet.
Well, if he knows he's getting a better bike, he's probably happy.
He's come to accept it. You know, he knows he is getting a bigger bike, but probably not until about Christmas. And by then, I'll probably just move him straight into an 80 or something. Oh,
I suggest everyone in the room play that clip. Either if Neff doesn't or whatever, play that clip that I linked. Trust me, it's probably the coolest clip I've seen on YouTube, and I've seen a lot of cool things.
Yeah, like you can see those bikes, Neff. They're not being ridden to their potential, man. So you're talking about kids and their confidence, but the bikes have got a lot more potential.
I think Neff left. I'm not sure where he went.
Oh, god damn. Guys, I'm telling you, save that link if he doesn't come back. It's awesome.
Well, I'll tell you guys what I was going to say until he comes back. And
just came back.
Oh, there you are, Neff. I got something to tell you, bro. And I want you to go. Don't just believe what I say, dude. Go verify this, dude. Go to Google Earth. And you can look us online too. You know Lucis Trust, you ever heard of that? You know, I've showed you their website and everything.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Originally, they were located at 666 United Nations Plaza. Now, you know what's located there now at 666 United Nations Plaza?
Oh, tell me.
The United Nations headquarters. Seriously, they're located at 666 United Nations Plaza.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
The Lucis Trust became the United Nations.
Seriously, like, you know, like that is an accident, you know. That's crazy, man.
That's just happened.
Can you do me a favor? Can you do me a favor and everyone else a favor and play that link that I tossed up there?
Which one is it?
If you don't like it, it's the second. No, the one with the building in the blue padding and stuff. It says the top 10 best jumps.
I'm watching it in another video or in another window.
Left A at 1991.
Sick.
Trust me, it won't let me down.
I don't know what that was I just saw. I can't believe that. Wow. That takes skill there, bud. Experience. Wow. That was awesome jump.
pushing up and down on the shift pedal.
You tempting death when you do this. I don't believe in such things.
Here we go. He did it!
Wow, that's pretty impressive, right?
Oh my goodness, this guy was moving probably over 100 miles an hour.
See, I don't believe in things like that, man. That's just pushing your limits. That's just tempting death, man. Oh, I know where that is. That's a cave in Mexico.
Come on, Neff. I've done some crazy shit. It's adrenaline chase. Adrenaline, man. Adrenaline junkies.
That's a cave in Mexico. I know they do that right there in that cave in Mexico. I heard about it.
What I'm gonna do without
Do you think it's a sin?
No, I just don't believe in Christian blood like that. One mistake. Slightest mistake.
Neff, I believe in living for what you love, man. You know?
Oh, I hear you, man. I ain't all against it, okay? I just don't. Myself, it's not my deal. I like acrobatics. Because there's sort of stuff when I was a kid. I was real agile, but I would not do that. No way. I'm a scaredy cat, man. I don't take chances. I hate chances.
Just wait to the
When I rode motocross as a kid, that was taking chances, wasn't it? Because I crashed my ass off lots of times.
But now I stick to cars.
You can't become an excellent. You can't become an excellent motocross rider without crashing your ass off repeatedly. You have to, because you don't. You can't learn about how far you can. You can't learn about how far you can push your limits as a motocross rider.
That's a triple. That's a triple.
Not possible.
That was a triple.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, that was a triple. No, 360, 720. That was a 1080. The last one was a 1080.
You can't become an excellent motocross rider without crashing many times. It requires it.
No, if you go back, you see one does a triple.
I know. I'm just saying you can't become an excellent motocross rider without crashing repeatedly, because you have to learn how far you can push it, and you can't do that without crashing, because you're gonna go too far.
World record dive, Neff. I can't remember how high this was. 180 meters or something like that.
Man, this is
200 and something feet.
Man. Oh no, not me.
If you landed flat, he would have exploded.
Oh man, it would have, yeah. That would have been an end to him.
Oh, I love those glide wings, man. They're awesome. I want to do that.
Oh yeah, I've seen that kind of stuff before. These guys are falling so fast.
That close to the ground.
It's hard to believe they're actually going down.
Yeah, I want one of those bodysuits, man.
Look how close he gets. Look at that.
That was sick.
Oh, it would be an awesome experience.
You know,
I
any
just
little
can't see
stick or
myself.
bush or rock protruding could have, could have got him. But he knew right where he was going, and he'd scouted the line.
Even with the body,
times before, so it was all good.
Even with the bodysuit, they still have a parachute. There you go.
On August the 16th, 1960, long before man had set foot on the moon, military pilot Joe Kittinger took a solo journey to the edge of space. Not in a rocket, but in a giant helium balloon. He reached 31
Yeah, that
kilometers.
was a test by NASA to see
high into the
if,
stratosphere.
That's
twice the height that I reached.
Possible the effects actually on a human body by the atmospheric pressure.
Then Kittinger did something astonishing.
Watch this.
He jumped. This is the actual moment.
Didn't
he
tear
fell
his
to
suit?
Earth, reaching a speed of
And he got
almost
frostbite?
1,000 kilometers an hour. And
No,
yet he could
suit
feel
is strong, man.
absolutely nothing.
I had no ripple of the,
I
of the
swear he
fabric,
tore his
my
suit.
pressure suit, and it was a very weird sensation.
He's telling.
I had no visual reference on anything, so I thought I was really suspended in space.
Only when he re-entered the troposphere, the lower atmosphere, did he experience the deafening but reassuring roar of air rushing past him. Finally, he opened his parachute. His jump remains the longest free fall in history.
Yeah, what if it didn't hold him, dude? That was freaking nuts.
Just 15 minutes after he jumped, Kittinger was back on the ground.
Yeah, and I'm all for putting a single bullet in a revolver and clicking it around against my head lots of times. Just lots of fun. Sounds like fun to me. I mean, why not? The Vietnamese did it. They forced American soldiers to do it. Why not?
Hold on.
Oh,
Nev,
come on.
it's not that
what?
everyone goes
Do
out
what?
doing everything. Hold on. Nev, it's not that everyone goes out doing everything. You become a master at something, right? And in my case, my thing is driving. My thing is driving, right?
I just
gave
don't
up on
get
motorbikes
into,
a long time ago.
I just don't get into risk in my life, that's all. I'm not into it. I understand the thrill. Look, I understand the thrill. I mean, I used to ride motocross. I've been in the air 35 miles an hour, laid a bike flat. Okay? I know about crossing up. I've done it every which freaking way. Before I was 15 years old, I was doing it in the air at 35 freaking miles an hour. But I understand the thrill. I'm older now. You know, I'm scared. I've become a pussycat. Okay,
talk to my missus. I'm so confident behind the car.
I'll be back in a minute.
Right?
Everyone
has got what they do.
I know. I know.
You know, mine is driving. I have no fear when it comes to driving. Right? I've overtaken trucks at 260 k's an hour on two wheels because I'm moving that fast to step out on the line. Just pulls the car up on two wheels. It does not bother me to do shit like that. But then you ask me to do a backflip on a car, on a motorbike, I'm not going to do that. I'll leave that to people who professions are motorbikes.
I'm with you, Rusted. Yeah.
Everyone gets good
when driving, right? You just feel, it's natural almost.
Yeah.
Right?
I won't call myself infallible. How do you say? You know, there's a thing called, we got a track here called the
Lieutenant Physicist.
Gun Barrel Highway, and the FIA rally with their best of the best cars. They tried to tackle it, and they had to have all the cars chopper lifted. Now, I'll take a stock standard fucking VN Commodore, which is nothing special, and I'll go out there and sit on top speed. And, you know, drifting and whatnot, drifting everywhere and doing stupid high jumps because there's you'd be doing 200 k's an hour and then the road just drops out from underneath you from water wash and whatnot, things like that. And, you know, my missus has been in the car with me and my kids have been in the car with me. Like, you know, yeah, I've come to an age where, you know, okay, you don't do this shit with kids in the car. But, you know, my kid asks me, you know, because he's been in the car with me when I'm done it, Dad goes, they scream at me, Dad, two wheels, and I'm like, no, you know, you come to the age where, you know, yeah, they scream for shit like that. He's going to be a little adrenaline junkie when he gets older, but I'm not going to be like, oh, you shouldn't be risking your life, you know, you know, the whole tempting fate attitude, I don't believe in that. You have fun. You do what you do, you know?
This is a pretty cool, neat clip, Neff, if you want to. It's really short. It's like a minute or so.
Yeah, I won't do that, Greek, man. We got 4x4 experts in Alice Springs, and no, I went out with them once, man. They'll never get me to go out with them again, man. Never.
These guys are nuts. When I go quadding, I see these rock climbers. The guy has his tire like 6 feet on the side of a tree. Let's say the rock climbers 6 foot in width, and he'd get through a narrow pass like 5.5 feet just because he climbs on the side of whatever he has to get on, and he squeezes. It's just, I don't know, it's hard to understand, but it's hard to explain, but it's just when you see it, you can't believe it. It's weird. Is Neff even still here? Neff, are you still here?
Yeah, man.
He said he'd be right back. Like, you know, sprint car races and whatnot. Like, you look how many you really can't have a sprint car event without someone planting the wall, man. It's gonna happen, and you go out there and you take your chances. But you know, it's not that you know, yeah, it's fun, man. Yeah, sprint car racing is awesome. You know, it's just circle work, but fucking with a lot of power. I love that shit. And I don't know. I don't feel that God's against us doing stuff like that. I don't feel that, you know.
Well, let me suggest to you that it's compromising your life, right? See, that's another question I have for
everything we do is, if we're going to look at it like that, Greek man,
yeah,
the moment you walk outside your house, you're compromising your life, you know.
There's some things that you can do intentionally though, like I smoke, many other people smoke. I mean, that's almost slight suicide, right? It's mini suicide.
Look at the early Christians, you know, when they went out and spread the word and whatnot. So some of the areas they go into, Greek man, they're compromising their life just to spread the word.
True, but yeah, true. I agree. I give you that. But again,
so you know, you can't use that argument.
Intent, though, intent. I'm sure God liked the fact that they were going out.
But God's not against us having fun, you know.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah, I agree. It's just, you know, how you look at it and such. What God would want you to do.
Look. When you're racing, like I'll talk about cars because that's what I do. When you're racing, you know what's reasonable and what's not. You know, there are gaps. You know what you can and can't do, but when you see something that you know is hairy, to step out and do that, how do you say? I don't know.
That's living life, dude. That's living life. I know what you're saying. When you get into that, when you know what your limit is, and then you get into that area where, you know, you're not confident, and you know the slight mistakes made, you know, you could have a problem. I think that's what you're trying to say. That's what you're trying to imply.
Yeah, it's like saying, one example, Greek man. I came around a corner completely sideways, absolute power drift, right? On the throttle, I was only just coming out of the drift, right, and letting off the power when I planted it again. And all the my missus was in the car, the kids, and we had some friends in the car too, and they'd never been in the car with me, right? So I just thought, I'm gonna fucking freak the shit out of these fucking kids, right? And I planted it, and all they could see, because there was an oncoming car on the other side of the road, all they could see was the rear end of the bumper of the car in front of us getting closer, and I picked the car up on 2 wheels, and just as the oncoming car passed the other car, I squeezed between on 2 wheels and then came back down on the 4. And that's absolutely crazy, but I was fully confident I could do it. It was not that I didn't think for a second that I was going to make a mistake, because I knew it was within my limits. Other people are going to look at me and go, well, you're an absolute fucking idiot. You know what I mean?
I understand.
But I knew that was within. I knew that was within my limits.
When someone starts questioning their ability, then that's when they tend to make mistakes. But yeah, to compromise your family and your well-being, that's kind of, you know, not the smartest thing. I wouldn't suggest you do it again. But yeah. I mean, I look back when I was a stupid kid and the things that I did, how easily, I mean, if the slightest thing, the slightest difference could have caused a big problem. And I'm happy that.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong.
That I got through
I'm
everything.
getting on in
now,
age.
I wouldn't.
And I know that I don't have my reflexes are dying down and whatnot, and you know, so yeah, I don't yeah, I'm not, I don't do it as much as I used to, you know, and I know that's what I'm saying. I know what I'm capable of, and I'm able to accept that I'm losing that edge, that ability, you know.
See, that's not the only thing. If I want to ride a motorbike, a speed bike. I want to have one. I used to have one, but I just seen some nasty shit that I can't do it now. Especially with the drivers that we have here. It's not that I don't have confidence in myself. I'm purely confident that I won't get into an accident. It's the rest of the commuters that I'm worried about. These people cannot drive, and I'm gonna say it. I don't care if you guys think I'm racist or if it's a stereotype. Even they admit it. Asians here especially cannot drive. They're horrible drivers. Yeah, comment. Throw it out. Asians can't drive.
Dude, I used to live in Japan. I know.
They don't know.
It's funny though. You say that Asians can't drive, but some of the best drivers in drift racing in the world are Asians.
It's called an outlier, dude. It's called an outlier.
Outlier?
Statistically speaking, of course, Yao Ming is gigantic, but Chinese people are still really short.
Yeah, that's true too.
It's funny, like I'm looking through politics and whatnot, and I was, you know, in my study of communism and whatnot, and how the Chinese communist system works, and I was looking at recreation. What's actually there? I started going into what does the government provide for recreation and whatnot, and what are the people allowed to and what are they not allowed to do and whatnot. And then I uncovered that there was no motocross in China, and they've only just embraced motocross. And I started looking at the Chinese motocross, and they're shocking to watch. They're terrible, but it was something that the country never had. But you know, they build Chinese bikes. That was another part of why I looked at it, was Chinese bikes are terrible compared to other bikes and whatnot. And I thought, well, do these guys not have a motocross where they test these bikes and whatnot? And you know, I came to realize they've only just started having motocross events, and they're shocking. But they will get better. They will, you know, time will progress. That's the difference between a free society and a communist society, I guess. Yeah.
I suggest people look up how they drive in Beijing and such. I mean, there'll be like a 6 or an 8 lane street or highway, and they don't obey these lanes. You'll get sometimes two lanes on each side going head on and such. It's weird.
When you're thinking big kahuna sports sedan, that is, monster engine, track-tuned suspension, all the other performance goodies,
Detroit
the car
has
everybody thinks about is this one,
Berlin.
the BMW M5. 5-liter V10 engine making 500 horsepower.
I love BMW.
Track-tuned suspension, 6-speed manual transmission,
but GM has beat
cross-drilled brakes. This car has everything. And it's priced
GM has
accordingly.
better cars than
Sticker
BMW,
price on this
though.
test car, over $95,000.
As far as performance and handling,
But Detroit's been paying attention to BMW, specifically Cadillac. And for
Cadillac
2009,
CTS
there's a new rival
is
to
a better
the M5,
performance car
the
than
all-new
the BMW
Cadillac
M5.
CTS V. The similarities between M5 and CTS V are striking. They're roughly the same size, both four-door
BMW's
sedans.
flagship.
BMW is just a tad lighter. They both use the same Michelin Pilot Sport tires.
The M5
they both have a 6-speed
has
manual
been
transmission.
Touted as
and the Cadillac also has a monster engine. In this case,
car,
a
which has
6.2-liter supercharged
power.
V8 making 556
supposedly
horsepower.
a car just under one class under supercar,
just a little bit less.
Like
Base
just
price
one
on this
level
car,
under the
$58,000
Lamborghini
and this particular
Diablos
test car
and
stickers at about $66,000.
Ferrari F50s.
Now we're here
right?
at Auto Club Speedway in Southern California today to
Next
run our
class
instrumented
below,
track
right?
tests on both cars. Let's see how
Cadillac
they do.
beats
Our
them.
first track test, 0 to 60.
Cadillac
First up,
has
the BMW
beat the
M5.
Germans.
It stormed to 60 miles an hour in just 4.1 seconds and ran the quarter mile in 12.5
longer
seconds at 115.3 miles per hour.
The high performance class kings of the lesser than super class genre
Next up,
of cars.
the mighty Cadillac CTS V. It proved even quicker than the BMW, running to 60 miles an hour in 4 seconds
See how
flat,
sucker gets
burning
some
up
dirt?
the quarter mile in just 12.3 seconds at 117 miles an hour.
Yeah, I ran the Cadillac in the quarter, man.
Australian cars own
Next up,
American
braking.
cars.
Watch this,
BMW
man.
M5
Watch.
stopped from 60 miles an
This
hour in
Cadillac
just 109 feet.
outperforms the BMW M5.
Though
Flagship
just slightly
of
heavier than the
BMW's luxury
M5,
class.
the Cadillac also stopped from 60 in just 109 feet. Next up, we turn to our Motor Trend Figure 8 course. The M5 circled in 25.2 seconds at 0.74 average G. If you want to put the tail out, all that power makes it easy to do. Next up, the Cadillac CTS V. Again, it edged its Bavarian rival in our Figure 8 test. Just 25.2 seconds around the course at 0.74 average G. Like the BMW, it's happy to put its tail out at the slightest push of the throttle. Well, those are the numbers, and not surprisingly, with 56 horsepower more, Motown spanks Munich. But what do the numbers look like in the real world?
Motown
Well,
spanks
today we're here at the
Munich.
drag strip, so let's line up these two cars and run everybody's favorite test, a drag race.
Cadillac beat the Germans, bro.
Nephilim,
beats
you know
Corvette.
that you know that the GDOs are an Australian car, right? That we built it.
Yeah, but I'm
and-
just pointing out that
yeah.
Cadillac has produced a ultimate luxury class automobile with high performance.
I'm just
spanks the
pointing
BMW
out that,
M5, which is the
I'm just
car that
pointing
all the
out
Germans
that,
point to as the one that you want to own if you're going to buy a BMW, unless you're going to buy a BMW race car, you know.
Yeah,
if you're going to
but
buy
I'm
a
just pointing out
BMW.
that Americans are good for rebadging Australian products and claiming the world
Well, maybe
that
so.
they're American car.
Maybe so. I'm just pointing out that BMW, that Detroit has spanked Germany on performance cars, man.
You show me anything that does better than the GDO.
Well, that's Ford.
The puppy turtle.
The GDO is not Ford.
GTO. Wait, I thought the GTO was a Ford.
Pontiac.
Oh, okay, GTO.
The GT40.
Yeah, I can show you something that does. What's that Ford? What's the premier sports car of the whole freaking world is the Ford.
GT40. GT40.
It's the GT, the Ford GT. It outperforms everything.
Ford GT40.
Yeah, but the Ford GT outperforms everything. It's the world-class sports car. Europeans think they got it. They don't got it. Ford got it.
Lieutenant Poultry.
Ford GT has been the world's premier sports car for 40 freaking years, man. For 40 years.
We build the fastest cars.
Since the 70s, the Ford GT has been the world-class, the standard against Lamborghini, Maserati. What's that new Swedish company that produces a high-performance car? Lamborghini. Every one of them trying to keep up with the Ford GT, man.
Please play this car.
I don't doubt it's an awesome car.
Please play. No, please play it.
I will.
It's an Australian car.
I'm sure it's a fantastic car. I'm just saying the world-class sports car is the Ford. It has been a long time.
That's kind of noticeable.
And so my point is, when Europeans argue with me that, Europeans make the best sports car, I say, crap. Ford has made the best sports car for 40 freaking years.
No way, Australians have. Watch this thing.
Modifani or something.
Am I gonna snap my head back here?
Yeah.
Okay. Jeez, you can just feel the torque just sitting there cruising.
Okay, we got some room here.
Red light, though.
Got a red light.
Okay, I don't have time codes, but that's pretty freaking fast.
No. That's not the baddest car. No. Look, guys. This is
Can
the
I talk about the GT40 now?
Yes.
Good. You see, over the years, a number of kit car manufacturers have made copies of it. They've been kind of plastic facts.
See, Europeans have been arguing that Europeans make the best sports cars. Lamborghini and Ferrari F50s and all this crap. All these years they've been, sticking their thumbs and pushing their noses up at Americans all these years, and it's a big delusion. Europeans believe it because that's what Europeans have been telling Europeans for all these years. Truth is, Ford has made the awesomest sports car in the world for 40 freaking years. The Europeans just don't want to believe it because it's an American product.
Similes with that Rover V8 engine that you were talking about earlier.
Absolutely. Some had the Mustang engine as well, and to be honest, some were pretty good.
I mean, these are very good indeed. But now, Ford themselves has had a go at making a copy. So think of it really as a GT40 for the 21st century.
This, my friends, is the world-class sports car.
This
the one
isn't
against all others are measured.
This is the old GT40, the one from the 60s, the 7-litre, 200-mile-an-hour monster that won Le Mans 4 times on the trot. This is the new version, which Ford says merely takes its inspiration from the old one. But it has the same massive haunches, the same enormous tyres, the same Emmental front end, all full of holes.
Look at it, the most awesome sports car in the world. It beats Lamborghini,
when you put the two of them together,
Ferrari,
they really
Porsche.
look exactly the same.
It's superior to all of them.
Except for one thing.
Nev, have you ever been in a GT40?
The old car was called the GT40 because it's 40 inches tall. Look, it isn't even as high as my legs. And as a result of that, I've never been able to fit inside. Let me show you the extent of the problem. Okay, you have to kind of thread your legs in America last year, but that was a pre-production mule. This is the £111,000 finished product that customers will actually buy. So let's see what it's like. astonishing. It actually hurts your neck muscles. It's trying to hold your head upright. But then it would, because this car develops 550 brake horsepower and 500 pounds-feet of torque. It's not just faster than the old racer, it's faster than any car you can buy today.
Faster than any car you can buy today.
Into third, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, into fourth, 150, 160. And I'm running out of runway.
The top speed is 212 miles an hour. So it's faster than the Porsche Carrera GT and the McLaren Mercedes, both of which are 3 times more expensive.
The key to this ferocious speed is, of course, the engine. It's a 5.4-litre supercharged V8. But don't get too excited, because it says here it was hand-built with pride by Ronald Ken. Basically, it was hand-built by Ron and Ken. And the block, well, that comes from one of those. Yep, the GT has pretty much exactly the same engine as a Ford Lightning pickup truck. Just like the old GT40 then, this is a blue-collar, working-class hero taking a sledgehammer to the blue-blooded automotive aristocracy. The funny thing is, though, is it's all very civilized. I was expecting it to sound like a wolf stuck in a gin trap. I'm doing 130 miles an hour now, and I barely have to raise my voice.
This is amazing when you think that huge engine and the whirring supercharger belt are just an inch behind your right ear. And even more amazing is the suspension, which cushions you from all the bumps and the ridges in the road. Because it's so quiet and comfortable, you sometimes think it's a normal car, but of course, it is.
Not only did they make it the most powerful, fastest accelerating car in the world, they made it the quietest.
The steering, for instance, is incredibly direct and incredibly precise. Just have to run over the white lines and I can tell whether they used gloss or emulsion paint. Gloss. Ooh, then there's the brakes. The deceleration is so ferocious it kind of pulls your head forwards. You'll end up looking like a giraffe at this rate with my neck muscles. A little bit more understeer than I was expecting here, but there's so much power we can cure it with a dab of throttle. There we go. This car is a sensation.
Here you go, pal. The most astounding automobile on the earth is a Ford. So much for the European superiority crap.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to sports cars. Ford has duped them.
Low soil Christians.
Hey,
and for 40 years, man. For 40 years. That car has won more professional races in Grand Prix than any other car. It is the world-class sports car. So that's the thing that kills me about Europeans. I've argued with Europeans so many times. Say, BMW, Lamborghini, Ferrari, blah 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 blah. No.
Let's see what the same people
Ford has owned them for 40 fucking years, and these people still put forth this crap. Oh, European cars are so much better. Bullcrap. It's denial. You see, the thumbs go in the ears. The fingers go over the eyes, and they say, no. But Ford has been beating the Europeans for 40 freaking years. Grand Prix and everywhere.
Human.
And they just refuse to deny it because they got this attitude of superiority. Well, we're better because we're Europeans. No, I'm sorry. America stooped their asses with the Ford GT, man. For 40 years. It's denialism, man. Same kind of crap we hear from the atheists, right? No, God, no, no, no. Can't be God, no, no, no. Can't be Ford, no, no. It's the same denialism. It's a matter of attitude.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a matter of attitude, you know. What you're willing to believe in your heart. That's all. It's not related to the truth. The truth is what the truth is.
Manic.
People fight it because of an emotional reason, not intellectual reasons. Ford GT is the world-class sports car, man. Lamborghini and Ferrari got nothing on it, man.
That's not true, Neff. What you're right about is what you're right about.
They just said it was.
They were doing really well. It was very impressive. I forgot when it was when the first Ford GT came out. It competed in the Le Mans and it just absolutely destroyed the Ferraris in the
yeah, and it still does. It still does. And they said it does. They said, Greek man, you're in denial again. These people test all these cars. Now you don't have to agree with them. I agree. You're perfectly free to have a differing opinion. But these people are British, and if you ask me, they would be more inclined to give credence to a European sports car over an American one, just because they're European. I mean, I think they would, right? But they didn't. They didn't because it's so clearly not the case. They gave the Ford GT, they said that it was superior to everything that Europe was producing at the time. It was, they stated, it was the world-class sports car. And on handling, braking, they said the braking was so powerful, it like to slam your face into the dash. They had to fight to keep their head straight up. The braking was so powerful. It has superior handling, acceleration, and braking of all compared to the Lamborghini and the Ferrari and the BMW, whatever is out there. The Swedish car.
Actually, on Top Gear, there was one car that beats everything on Top Gear. If you want to see it, I'll link it.
Well,
you should watch it. It's a nutty ass car.
Or are you talking about the one that has the twin?
Nobody knows about this car.
Twin dual V8 engines.
ABC 123.
Yeah, it has superior acceleration.
It's not.
Okay, it has superior acceleration and top
this thing's
speed.
like a V8 twin turbo or something.
Yeah, I know what car you're talking about. It's the Bugatti Veyron. Right, it's the most powerful car in the world. But the problem is, if you took that car around the track with a Ford GT, the Ford GT would outrun it. Because the Bugatti Veyron is too heavy. It doesn't have the same. Wait. The Bugatti Veyron doesn't have the same cornering capabilities of the Ford. Okay. The Veyron will not handle the corners. Like
and the Bugatti
is
not
like
the fastest anymore.
GT.
Play that clip. Play that clip.
I know, but you're talking about straight track. I'm talking about around
this is
a racetrack.
Neff, this is a track. This is a track around the corners. Watch, you'll like it.
Show me a statement in this video that they say this is fast. Just because we can watch it run doesn't mean it's the fastest. I mean, we could be watching the Ford GT on the way. Yeah, it could be a Ford GT for all we know.
No, it's
I don't see any statements by anybody. This is superior to the Ford GT. No, the Ford GT is the world-class race car. Has been for 40 years. The Europeans have been complaining forever that the Lamborghini and Ford and the Porsche and the Lamborghini and the actually Porsche.
They made a list.
Funny thing is, Porsche has two classes of cars when it comes to high performance cars. They have their high performance cars, and then they have the ultimate performance cars, which are Grand Prix style race cars. Okay. And that's another class altogether, because you go from 350 to 450 horsepower to, I'm talking 600-700 horsepower. That's another class, okay? But you just saw Top Gear, a European source, which is inclined to believe that a European sports car is the best, right? State that the Ford GT was the hottest car in the world on the track. Okay, so and it has been actually improving on the track for 40 years to be the world-class leader. Okay, but what you hear from Europeans all the time is, oh, your Americans can't make a worthwhile car, and they rant and rave about the Corvette. Blah blah blah. Why do they complain about the Corvette so much? Well, because they want to make you think the Ford GT doesn't even exist, right? So they talk about the Vet.
Nephilim.
So try to make Americans wait. Try to make Americans believe that the hottest car America makes is the Vet, right? So they think, oh, you must be right, because the Vet, it doesn't compare to a Lamborghini Murcielago or a Ferrari F50. You must be right. But that completely ignores the Ford FGT. See? So that's why they compare. That's why the Europeans constantly complain about the Vet. It's because they want you to forget. They don't even want you to think. They want you to think that the Corvette is the hottest car America makes. So they complain about the Vet, so you'll think, oh, Vet's all about Vet. Oh, gosh, I guess the Vet's no good. See? But so you won't even think to look elsewhere for information and find out that the Ford GT is the world's foremost sports car on the track, right? So that's why the Europeans do that, see? It's a game, right? But they're wrong. The Lamborghini, the Ferrari, they don't compare to the Ford GT. And they never have. Not for 40 freaking years. America has made the
GTO isn't even on the
best,
top list.
The hottest car on the track
the GT40
for 40 years has been the Ford GT. For 40 years.
Top Gear tested it,
and
it's not even on their
But what
top
we've been, what we've been brainwashed to believe is European garbage information, right? That the Americans don't make a world-class sports car, see? And that's lie. That's a lie. It's crap. We've been brainwashed. A blanket covers everybody's eyes. That's crap. Truth is, Ford has made the world-class sports car for 40 freaking years. But the Europeans, they don't want you to even know about the 40. They don't even want you to know about it.
The Ford GT40, all right, is not even on the top list. It's
of course.
And it's really
is that surprising?
It's really not that far. I've been in two of them, Neff. They're really not that.
Is that
great.
surprising?
I don't like them.
But
I don't like them.
So you just saw Top Gear State, and they've tested the Diablo, the Murcielago, the Ferrari F50 and F40, and all these other cars, right? And they stated themselves that this car was the premier car in the world on the track. It would get around the track faster than any car, production car
every good
in the world.
Car.
I know, but they stated there was the fastest car around the track in the world. They stated that.
The Greek man just gave the list of top list times.
But okay, all right, but did they not state that it was the fastest car around the track on the world today?
I think it was in the 70s or the 80s.
Didn't they state that? Okay, man, no. Guys, I got to take you guys back to the basics. Do we have to play the video again? Did the guy not state that the F40 was the fastest car? No, I'm asking you.
It's not even on the list of 250.
I don't care about the list. The list is produced by the people that want you to think what they want you to think.
That's produced by Top Gear.
It's probably obsolete results anyway.
Did they not state in that video that the F40 was the fastest car around the track today?
That you can buy.
That you can buy.
You're talking about, right?
Didn't they state that?
They do.
Come on, don't tell me you deny that. Come on. They did say it, right? In that video, right? Yeah, they did. Okay.
Hey, Neff,
all right.
Have you
so it was at that time, and that video is no more than a couple of years old, and the history of the F40.
Yes, they said
on
that,
the track.
But I don't have to agree with what they say.
On the track has been exemplary. It's won Grand Prix, beating Ferrari, Porsche, Lamborghini, Maserati. It's beat those guys, all of them, for 40 freaking years on the Grand Prix. Okay, so you saw them state in the video that this was the hottest car on the track at that time. It was the fastest car around the track in the world. Okay, the Ford F40. Okay, so when you show me a list, well, how does that? Oh, I would say, well, no doubt. So what? They want to produce a list that tells you otherwise. Why wouldn't they? Of course they will. Surely. I mean, for crying out loud, if it goes against my paradigm, what do you expect them to do, right? Of course they're going to put forth a list that discredits the Ford F50, especially if all the bastards in charge of the list are Europeans. They don't want America to look like they can make them a world-class sports car. They've been fighting this truth for 50 freaking years. They hate it.
I could say the same thing about I could say the same thing about Americans.
My God, man.
Australia produced a car. Hold on. Australia produced a car.
Oh my God.
Listen. Australia produced a car. We exported to America, and you wouldn't sell it on your market until you'd ripped all the badges off and claimed it as your own.
Yossarian.
You stripped Australia of all its credit.
Oh my God.
You want to go there? Like, America's, done the same thing. I get into arguments online all the time with Americans that try and tell me that the GDO is an American car. I'm like, oh my God, man. Like, it's the same parallel.
Hey, Neff.
Lieutenant Poultry Physicist.
Hey, Nephilim.
Am I wrong in my thinking, Ray?
Saying that if Australia made a car and exported it to America, that we strip the tags and claim it as our own.
You sure did. Am I wrong? I mean, you're probably still dealing with the idea that you still think in the back of your head that the GDO is an American car, the new model GDO on the market.
The Gran Turismo Overdrive, the Pontiac.
Yeah.
I thought it was an American car.
No, mate.
Oh.
We built and designed that in Australia, and it's been credited as the car that brought muscle back to America.
Support. ABC 123.
And we put up with Americans online all the time saying Australians don't know how to build cars for shit. And then we quote the Pontiac GTO, and we get laughed at because Americans believe it to be an American car. They say we have to lie to make claims to great cars. I didn't know who's the one lying here.
But you can't doubt that the GT40 is a pretty successful car.
The GT40 is a nice car. I've been in it. Okay, I've been in two of them. But I'm not a Ford guy, and I'm not trying to be cruel against the GT40. I just don't like them. I just don't like them. Here in Australia, we race the super sedans at Bathurst, and that's what we do. They come out of factory and they're turned into supercars, and so basically the cars that we drive on the road, the sedans that we drive on the road, are primarily built and designed to be raced, but at the same time have the be marketable for you know where I'm going, Ray?
Yeah.
So
I just want to show Neff this concept car by Ford.
Perceptive entity.
That concept
it's silly
car
to argue
right
it
there.
I don't see it as silly. I think arguments against the fact that the Ford F40 is the hottest car on the track. It's really just an example of anti-Americanism. People refuse to acknowledge that America can produce a product that is world class. That's what it really boils down to. They just hate it. The idea of acknowledging that America can produce a product that is world class. They can't stand that so much. They're willing to argue against it, even an expert.
Hold on. I'm not. That's not. You're misrepresenting my stance.
Even when when it's proven on a track by Europeans, they still argue against it. It's because there's something in their mind, their heart, that just it's American. It just, I refuse to acknowledge it. It cannot be world class. There's no way America produces anything world class. America is all about bigger and more expensive, but nothing that is world class. Okay, that's the stupid ass European idea that's been the pride that's been going on for 700 freaking years. It's not even. Wait.
700
It's
years.
not based in reality. It's not based in reality. Okay. Why do we? If we applied this to history, then we could also say the Roman arch was not an example of superiority in architecture. No, it was just Roman. No, that's not better. No. You see what I'm saying?
700 years.
The idea that America could produce something better than something European is abhorrent to people who love Europeanism. Okay?
Yeah,
and that's the whole reason. That's the whole yeah, I know. And that's the whole reason that people argue against anything that's absolutely proven, even proven by Europeans, to be true about a product of America that is superior somehow. They hate it so bad. They have to support Europeans. And here's where it comes from. You know what a lot of it boils down to, excuse me, is the fact that America is a melting pot, you know, and not a direct descendant of Europe. Okay, so if for example a country in Europe begets offspring of some kind, well then they can say, yeah, there are children, but then America, which is a melting pot of all people around the world, oh they're lesser. What your friend, look, don't you see the evolutionism, the racism in that?
Okay, Neff.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Name one thing the rest of the world compliments. Name one thing the rest of the world compliments Australia for.
Well, I don't know.
Think we're down here at the arse end of the rap. You think America cops it bad?
No, but
look, credit one thing to Australia.
I believe they do.
Credit one thing to Australia.
I believe they do.
Yeah, but credit one thing. You're not aware of it. You're not.
I believe
you. To Australia.
I believe you, bro. I believe you.
You can't do it.
Australia has gotten the short end of the stick in certain ways. I believe you. America gets the short end of the stick in other ways. It's not credited for the things, the achievements that it makes. It's always looked at as being a conglomerate of people, and therefore inferior, because the Dutch say, well, they're not purely Dutch, they can't be as good as we are, and the Germans say, well, they're not purely German, so they can't be as good as we are. Frick all that. You see what I'm saying? Just because America is a mixture of every freaking culture in the world, we're inferior? Crap on that. Hey, history proves otherwise, and the Ford F-40 is proof of it. That an American corporation that makes automobiles has produced the world-class track automobile. Okay? It beats the Ferrari. It beats Lamborghini. It beats Bugatti. It beats Maserati. It beats them. Okay? It beats Alfa Romeo. They just refuse to accept it. Why? Not because they're American, because they're freaking Europeans. They can't stand it that America has actually done something that usurps them in performance. And that's all it is. It amounts to nothing more than European pride. That's all it is.
Check out that Shelby Cobra GTR.
RustedBlade Christian.
That's a Ford right there. That's a Ford.
Whoa. Wow, that's a wild paint job.
Listen to that engine.
Yeah, that's a lot of horsepower, man. I can tell by the sound of that.
Right.
That's a car
that Ford there, I like that Ford. I like that Ford. I've been in one of those. I like those.
I don't like that paint job, but I like the car.
I'm not. Right. I don't like the paint job. They're illegal here in
Australia. No, I don't either.
It's not even legal. That kind of paint job is not even legal.
I don't like the paint job, but the car is beautiful.
I've been in one of those cars.
That engine sounds like a monster, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. You know it's got some rock, man. It will rock. I don't like the paint job, but the car is beautiful.
Poultry Physics
that's a Ford, too.
Yeah.
Ford
what car is that?
It's called a Shelby GTR. A Shelby GTR.
GTR? I never even heard of that. That's awesome. That's a bad car, man. Now look, I admire for European sports cars. I do. The M5 BMW was for a while one badass car. Look, you could be going down the Autobahn in an M5 back in the 70s, for example, or 80s, and some guy pull up beside you in a Mercedes, and you could stomp that BMW M5 and just dust him, right? And in about 30 seconds, you're going to be way ahead of him, because the M5 put out 495 horsepower. And you're going to be gone. I mean, that BMW M5 was just rolling on. And the thing is, Mercedes now. You know, Mercedes used to be all about safety, right? Their cars used to be all about safety, right? And comfort and quiet, right? in the 60s, right? 50s, right? Mercedes cars were all about luxury, right? But now it's a whole nother standard, man. Mercedes makes cars that will freaking roll, dude. Okay, they're a rock. Okay, but that's not the same kind of car we're talking about on the track.
Neff,
with F40,
the
right?
companies here in Australia, right? We have Ford and Holden here in Australia. Ford and General Motors in Australia. Holden used to be an Australian company, but they were crushed by corporate bullshit, right? Between Ford and General Motors, and General Motors bought out Holden, so now they're known as General Motors Holden, right? So they crushed the only Australian company. But what we do here is they're not your American cars. We design our own cars and build them here in Australia. But of course, the parent companies are Holden and GM, right? So there's a lot of bullshit involved. But we had Dodge over here too, right? And that's where the car that I've got is a Charger, and that's where I try and tell you what happened was Ford and General Motors screwed Dodge here in Australia. They were like there's not enough room for 3 of us in Australia, so they crushed Dodge using dodgy politics. And well, what with the Dodge, with my car that you've seen, the story of my car is that the Australian workers always wanted to make an Australian version of the Charger, and the company was against it. See, Dodge was blah blah, doesn't matter. But anyway, Dodge went belly up, and the workers appealed because they'd all lost their jobs and had no jobs to go to. And they asked the company, what are they going to do with the company? And Dodge said nothing, it can just sit there and rot. So Dodge was benevolent enough to bestow the company to the workers, who inherited shares, and the Australian workers, without no corporate overseeing and whatnot, pretty much went on to design the Australian version of the Charger. We appealed to Dodge because they had the 265 at that stage, and the 265 was declared a dud engine, Neff. They could not get it to work properly, so the Australian workers lobbied they lobbied Dodge, and Dodge basically said, yeah, if you can make it work, have it. And we then turned that 265 engine into the fastest production street car until only just 2 years ago, when the Ford F6 Typhoon came out and beat the but there's some serious there's some serious road laws here in Australia.
Production street car. What are you talking about? Ford F40 would dust it.
No, hold on.
The F40
here in
is
Australia,
a production
right?
street car.
There was a we're talking here in Australia. There's laws here in Australia where pretty much they have to market at the people. Companies, our Aussie guys have always wanted to build more, more different classifications of cars, like the GT40 and stuff, but we're not allowed to. Holden division went on to build. Basically, we built the Tirana GTR XU2, and we were the first. We were the first to make the rotary engine work. The GTR XU2 was a very sleek car, and politics crushed it. Hold on. Get the point. Hold on. They crushed it. They would not allow it to go into production.
Cars, man.
They wouldn't allow it to go into production, and we were forced to sell it overseas. The story of the story of the Holden GTR XU2, right, which was a rear-mounted rotary engine, right, went on to become the RX-7 as we know it today, right? No, they built the RX-7, right? They sold it because we couldn't build it here on shore. We couldn't build it here in Australia through our politics.
Inefficient. Nobody uses that anymore.
But in its day, Nephilim, the rotary was,
I know, but
the
that
rotary
was not
set a new
devised.
mark that had to be
That was a
beaten.
Japanese design, not an Australian.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was an Australian design. You're not listening.
No.
It was.
That was a
Yes,
Japanese
it was. It was developed by General. Oh,
No.
I'm going to prove it to you.
The rotary design was Japanese. It wasn't American. It wasn't American, and they handed it to the Australians. The rotary design.
No, the Americans never even handed it to
us. Wait. The rotary engine was designed and invented by Mazda. That's a Japanese company. Mazda invented the rotary engine. Not Australian company. I don't know where you get your information, dude. Mazda invented the rotary engine.
Just relax. Let me inform you.
Mazda. That's why Mazda automobiles became prominent in the early 70s. Because of their famed rotary engines, 3 rotors had the horsepower of a 350 cubic inch V8. And they had small cars that had the horsepower of a mid-size automobile with a V8. And they were really popular for almost no period of time, for about 5 years. And then Mazda realized that, it didn't work. It's a unique design, but nobody wants it, and so they quit producing it. The RX-7 died about 1975. That's about the time they stopped producing it, because nobody wanted it. It burned too much gasoline. Everybody wanted, and that's about the time that there was a gas crunch in the United States, and everybody wanted performance. They wanted economy, and so the rotary engine just hit the brakes right about the same time because it burned too much gasoline. It had tremendous horsepower for its displacement, but it also used a lot of gasoline. It was a very gas-hungry engine design, and so it died because of the gas crunch.
E-questions.
And that was it for the rotary engine. It died, and they didn't push it forward because for the coming years after that, everybody was people became more concerned about economy with cars until about the late 80s, and then the big engines began to appear again. 350, 305, 350, 400 cubic inches. Again, it was all over again. It's all in cycles, But the rotary engine, actually the real reason the rotary engine never took off was because of engineering, and not because of gas efficiency. It was because it would have required all these manufacturers and repair centers to tool up to repair a rotary engine, which was completely different from piston engine design. And that would have cost millions of dollars with new tools and whatnot, and they didn't want to do that, so they got rid of that idea. They said, no, we're not going to tool up. GM said, Ford said, Chrysler said, I'm not going to tool up to make, for repairing this rotary engine, because otherwise you'd have to take it directly to Mazda, right? But the thing is, American citizens, when they have a car that has a problem, an automotive problem, they don't just take it directly to the one that makes it, right? They take it to whoever gives them the better price on repair, okay? And that's why there's competition on the in the repair mechanism, in the repair industry, right? So they all tool up for each other, and they use a standard for the size of bolts and nuts and whatnot, so that you can bring a Dodge to a Ford repair shop And they can pull out the Chilton's book on it, and they can say, okay, I can figure out how to fix that. No problem. And I've already got 18 years experience as a mechanic. No problem. Just give me some tools. I'll disassemble this side of the gun, put it back together. No problem. I know what I'm doing, right? But when it comes to rotary engine, another problem. It's a whole other deal. You're talking about asking the 3 major auto manufacturers of the United States to retool,
read the opening line,
and produce a tremendous amount of literature to teach and training to teach people how to repair an engine that is uncommon, right? They weren't willing to do it, and so the rotary engine died. It just lost interest because there wasn't enough support for it. See what I mean? That's why the rotary engine died. There was not enough support for it. People weren't interested in retooling and reschooling to upgrade to repair the rotary engine, and it made poor gas mileage. Yeah, it produced a lot of horsepower per displacement, but it was also gas inefficient, and that was looked at in the early 70s as a bad idea. You know, an engine that was inefficient on fuel economy, that was kind of a no-no. So here we got an engine that produces a lot of horsepower per displacement, but nobody's tooled up to fix it, and it makes bad gas mileage, and so it went into extinction almost overnight. It was popular for about 3 years, and that was gone. That was it. The rotary engine lasted only about 3-4 years, and that was it. It was gone. That was it. The whole history of the rotary engine was probably 3 to 5 years, because it was inefficient, and it would have required all the manufacturers of the United States to retool for it. And they said, no, I don't think so. We're all using pistons. Screw that. Forget their rotors. Let them bastards do it on their own. And they couldn't do it, so
Greekman
it died.
Skeptic. Unsurpassed Turtle Haughty.
Yeah.
Point Man Zero. The Puppy Turtle.
Rotary engines just never took off because there were a couple of problems.
Forge.
Are you guys still talking about motocross?
Motocross.
Lieutenant Poultry to exist.
I don't know, but I tell you what, if I owned a company and somebody asked me to make $50 million worth of tools so I could get $10 million worth of business every year, I'd tell them, you're screwed. I'm not going to do it. You know what I mean? I don't think so.
During... I can't say it. I can't say it.
Greekman Skeptic.
Somebody asked about, it was valuable person, gravitationalist says, no. Orgy said, or ogre, or whatever. How's that pronounced? Ogre or orgy?
Or gay.
Orgay said,
No, let's call it orgy. How much would an orgy cost exactly?
Okay, Orgay said, Orgay, actually that has double meaning. Orgay has gay in it, and orgy, so gay, orgy.
How much would a orgy cost?
Gay orgy.
You can find out how much you can cost an escort gate.
Straight orgy or gay orgy. But I think it's more okay. It's like okay.
Crap. I think they're all crap to me.
How much would a gay orgy go for in California?
Sicko to me. If you want to put it that way.
Anyways,
what does it take to win a motocross championship?
Said to Neff, what can you tell me about...
You have to be able to produce diamonds with your eyes. And you need to be able to spell the world backwards and dance on your head 90 times a second.
What? Could you repeat that sentence, please? I didn't quite catch it.
Oh, or J, not or
I said pink space monkeys exist in my living room, even though I can't see them. Did you get it that time?
Is this your attempt at trolling, or have you had a couple? It's okay if you have.
So the question is, how much would it cost to have them have sex with you?
I think that sex is the answer.
Of course it is. Sex is always the
sex is
anyways, I was getting to what Orgay had said. I was trying to make a passing joke, but I see
that
doesn't work right now.
Your worldview is based upon sexual promiscuity?
And motocross, yes.
My what is based upon sexual promiscuity?
Promiscuity and motocross.
It's